Hello, and welcome to Cinema Therapy Reviews. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is...
Alan Seawright, a professional filmmaker who needs therapy, and honestly, a nap. And not just because I'm feeling a little under the weather.
Did that movie almost put you to sleep?
No, that movie gave me ADHD.
Boom! ADHD.
I mean, this is a thing I was diagnosed with at 12, and I now found out why I have it. This movie somehow traveled back in time and gave me ADHD.
All right, we're talking about Dogman, the newest movie based on the graphic novel series by Dav Pilkey, author of Captain Underpants.
That's right.
And we actually had the opportunity to catch this together with our kids tonight.
We did, and it was a blast, and it got the Sam Seawright seal of approval. He has read every Dogman book multiple times. You know, I said, hey, how does it compare? What story is it drawn from? He's like, oh, there's pieces from every single book. And yeah, it felt like what Dogman should be as a movie. And I was like, great, I'm glad I didn't read those.
It also got the Michael Decker seal of approval. He too has read all the books. He complained that the chief fell in love with the wrong woman. Other than that,
ruh-roh.
They got the details right. So it's good to know that our kids enjoyed it, because this feels more like a kid's film than a family film.
That is correct. And as a kid's film, honestly, I thought it was pretty good. They did throw in, you know, the occasional, mostly like obscure movie references. There was an Apocalypse Now joke in there.
Yeah.
That I was the only person in the theater who laughed out loud for.
So your basic premise, folks, is a police officer and his dog. There's a tragic accident, and so they can't save the dog's body or the police officer's head, so they just put the dog's head on the police officer's body. One of the things I was very tickled by is that they just do it and then get on with the movie. There's not a lot of grieving. There's not a lot of pathos. It's just like, we're doing this now. And in fact, that was something that I found very charming about the movie, is its pacing. Scenes really popped. They got in, did what they needed to do, get out and move on. And so even though it didn't really speak to me, you know, there's not a lot of profundity. This isn't one of your DreamWorks masterpieces. It was still fun, and the pace was good. The runtime was good. So while I don't think it's a family film in the sense that you're going to be drawn into it like Wild Robot or How to Train Your Dragon, at the same time, not bad.
If your kids really want to go see Dogman, you will go and you will laugh 8 or 10 times. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to be like a laugh a minute, but there are, you know, there's some big belly laughs in there. And then, of course, there's the little chuckles of like, oh, he said the thing from Die Hard.
Sneak around, crawl in some vents, do a Die Hard.
You talked about this movie giving you ADHD. Can you elaborate on that?
This is actually one area where I would push back on you, Jono. I thought the pacing was insane, borderline insufferable. It moves so fast and just doesn't, there are zero f***s that it could give about like, we're gonna finish a scene and like play things out. Nope, we're just gonna cut right to stuff, including at one point, they make a joke about a montage, which there are some, you know, filmmaking jokes like that that are kind of fourth wall breaky, and they marginally work. This one worked actually really well for me.
Going to arrest Petey, and I don't care if it takes a montage.
But you cut to the outside of a building, and one of the characters says, and now it's time for a montage, and it goes so fast we don't even show it to you, ha-ha! And then it cuts away, which honestly just tickled me. But that's endemic of the entire film. Like, this film does not have time for anything.
Yeah.
It could have, it just chose not to.
Well, and I think that's what comes with trying to fit scenes from 4 or 5 different books into one movie, is it plays like a greatest hits, but nothing really breathes. There's thematic meat here, but at the same time, it's kind of like, where's the beef? Like, it's there, but it doesn't really breathe. What did you think of the animation style?
I thought the animation was, listen, it's DreamWorks. Even though this was a lower budgeted DreamWorks movie, really, really talented team over there. And they did amazing work, as always. It was an interesting, like, pseudo stop motion sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was an interesting look that I hadn't seen before, but it felt very much like the drawings in the book. It's sort of made into models and then animated. I don't know. It was interesting, something I hadn't seen before, and I really liked it. And I will say the posing and the motion of the characters had a lot of, like, the poses were huge and very graphic, and then there was a lot of pop and snap to the animation. Again, with the ADHD, things just happened really fast. It was all clear and readable all the time. So that you know, eased my old man brain a little bit.
If you're going to put that vile shit in me, you'll have to earn it.
And I like what you said about stop motion, because it's not, obviously, like, they didn't actually build these by hand, but it has that feel to it, kind of that jittery thing going on. And it reminded me a lot of the animation of Illumination's Peanuts movie, you know, that Charlie Brown movie, as well as, if you've seen Captain Underpants, honestly, Captain Underpants is a film based on a series of books by the same author. It's about that level. Alan, who's this movie for?
It's for your highly caffeinated child, or the child that you really need to just put something on an iPad in front of them. I'm not advocating this as like a long-term parenting strategy, but sometimes you just have 90 minutes that you need to kill, and they will not take their eyes off of this movie.
Because it won't let them.
Because it will not let them. It is a visual assault in the friendliest, cutest possible way. But there are worse ways to spend 90 minutes. Jonathan, what can people learn from this 90-minute animated assault on the senses?
You know, I was making mental notes during the movie. There were good themes in here, and it's an hour later that we're recording this, and I've forgotten all of them. Listen, the big growth arc is not with Dogman himself. Within 5 minutes, Dogman is Dogman, and
Dogman is Dogman, and he continues to be Dogman. He's a good boy.
Right. Petey, the supervillain, who is voiced by Pete Davidson.
He does an incredible job, by the way. Like,
he does. He's not Pete Davidson in this at all.
No, he was voice acting, and it was phenomenal. It was really good.
Ooh, I remember what I was going to say now. This
good.
is a story.
Yay!
This is a story about breaking the chains of intergenerational neglect. So I have one question to bring to the theater and to talk about with your littles, which is, how do you want to continue things from your family, and how do you want to do them different? Right, looking back and moving forward and deciding. I love Petey Jr. I don't think spoilers really matter with Dogman. Petey, the villain, clones himself, creates a mini-me. It's very Dr. Evil. And then learns how to be innocent and loving again after being neglected by his own father. So
what you're saying is January is a month that had Wolfman, a movie about intergenerational trauma where someone turns into a wolf, and Dogman, where someone turns into a dog and is a story about intergenerational trauma.
Yep. And
basically the same movie.
But, you know, be careful about wandering into the wrong theater with your kids. All right, Alan, it's time to give this movie a grade out of 10. How would you rate Dogman?
Personally, for me, 4 out of 10 as a film to take your kids to, especially if they're Dogman fans. It's a strong 6.
Yeah,
it's a 6.
Yeah. I was feeling 5 or 6. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of like, yeah, that was fine. But for what it's worth, my Dogman loving son gave it an 8. I asked him specifically for his rating out of 10. So take that for what it's worth, folks.
Yep. And my Dogman loving son, who is 12, so he's kind of aging out a little bit, gave it a 6.
Everybody, take that for what it's worth. Are you excited to see Dogman this weekend? Let us know in the comments below. What movies coming out in February are you looking forward to us reviewing? What requests do you have? Again, let us know. And as always, like, subscribe, and click that bell. Clicking the bell means you will get notified and never miss one of our reviews.
That's true. And you don't want to miss them because reasons.
It's so late, you guys. So until next time,
watch movies at the theater.